I love Classic WoW, and with all the hype around Classic Plus, it got me thinking, I don't know what to play. I mained Rogue in 2019, but I don't know if I want to do that again. So, to kill some time until BlizzCon and explore my options, I'll be leveling every class to level 20. But there's a twist. Each character will have a special augment making their journey just a little bit harder. We'll start off in hardcore and see where the winds take us. But enough talking, let's get into it. Meet Darksifer the Warlock. Starting off simple, his augment, hardcore. That's it. It may not be the most interesting challenge, but it gets the series started and takes Warlock off the table for harder augments further down the line. Speaking of Warlock, let's talk about him. They summon demons and use damage over time spells to defeat their enemies. That being said, you don't get either of those at level 1. At first, you're more like a rogue from Wish.com that occasionally casts Shadow Bolt. But that doesn't last long. At level 2, we visit our trainer and learn Immolate, the first of many damage over time spells we'll be using, as well as picking up our first class quest to learn how to summon the Imp. I wonder what his name will be. If you've played hardcore for any amount of time, you should know the motto, caves or graves. You should only ever go inside if you absolutely have to, and unfortunately for us, we need to. This is the only way to get our Imp summoning quest done, so we brave the cave, and we even meet up with a friend. Spoiler alert, this cave was definitely not our grave, even with my new buddy missing the jump about 15 times, almost catching respawns. After tying up the rest of the loose ends we had in the valley, it was time to return to the Warlock trainer and finally learn how to summon our first demon, the Imp. So, let's finally meet who we'll be leveling with for at least the next 6 levels. Chori the Imp. Not bad. I haven't leveled a gnome or a dwarf in a long time, and one thing I've noticed is they love caves. We're just leaving the starting zone and we've already encountered our second cave. Definitely not the last, by a long shot. Speaking of caves, after a quick pit stop in Karanos, we're already back to caving. This is our third cave, and this time, we have to take out the Wendigos. And if you've already forgotten, remember, in hardcore, caves are graves. This time around, I had to be especially on my toes, because even though everything's dead, that means it's going to respawn. One wrong pull at the wrong time, you could be fighting 3 or 4 Wendigos with nowhere to go. With our first near-death experience out of the way, it was time for a change of pace, collecting Shimmerweed from the trolls. But don't be fooled. Everywhere in this zone is a death trap. These Frostmane Seers cast Lightning Bolt, and spells are deadly in Classic. Pull too many of these, and you'll be dead before you know it. Speaking of pulling too many mobs, do as I say, not as I do. I managed to pull this 3-pack by the bonfire, and if I had stuck around, I surely would have died. After grabbing the last Shimmerweed for our quest, you guessed it, the next stop, yet another cave. Kill some trolls, explore the inside, and get out. It went super smooth, except for the part where I accidentally aggroed everything with my pet and had to run away. So for some reason I thought it would be a great idea to reload my UI in the middle of a field and immediately get attacked by 2 animals. Now luckily I could get away, but once again, everything can kill you in hardcore. After being almost mauled by a bear, it was time to kill some leper gnomes. Surprisingly, this went really smooth and I didn't almost die 4 times. After culling the leper gnomes and finishing off all the wildlife, it was time to turn in my quests and head on to my next adventure. Oh yeah, and I also got invited to a random guild. I'm probably fine. And because I'm insane, I went into a 5th cave guarded by an elite yeti just to get some meat for a dwarf. And with that, we got a sick new robe and it was time to head to Ironforge. First things first, we grabbed a lesser magic wand from the auction house. This might be the only time we can use the AH in this challenge. Then, we grabbed our Warlock quest sending us to Stormwind. It was time to take the tram. I made a quick stop at the Slaughtered Lamb to pick up my Voidwalker quest, and then it was time to go to Goldshire and start Elwyn Forest. I set my hearth, picked up my quest, and was ready to save the forest I knew so well, and maybe enter a couple more caves. I don't know what it was about Fargo Deep Mine, but it was really chill. I didn't feel in danger at all. Probably because I was 3 or 4 levels above all the mobs, but still. This was the first cave, number 6 by the way, where I didn't feel like I was going to die at any second. Oh yeah, I also put my first 2 talent points into the Corruption tree. I'm pretty sure it's the best for leveling, but I'm not sure. I just like having a lower cast time on Corruption until eventually it's instant. At this point, I was starting to feel myself. Everything in Elwyn Forest was underleveled for me, and I could just run through it without ever having to worry. These Murlocs, normally terrifying, absolutely horrifying, usually do it way later, but I just walked by, casually killed a few Murlocs, and was on my way. Even this double pull wasn't scary. I was feeling on top of the world. Not even cave number 7 could bring me down. I was on top of the world. Everything was so easy. Until it wasn't. Princess is no joke. Even with Furiant Ad, dotting her up and kiting her on the fence while wanding in between, I took so much damage. I likely could have died, which is just another reason to always keep in mind, everything can kill you in hardcore. But I digress. Some skillful fence kiting and some wanding, and she's dead. Easy peasy. Kind of. Next up in the Elwyn Forest Gauntlet is Serena Caledon, aka the NPC we have to kill to unlock Voidwalker. The strategy is as simple as Princess. Dot her up, run away, and let her ads reset. And I guess also take way less damage. It was so much safer. Finally, it was time to do Eastern Elwyn, which boils down to find a dead body, kill some animals, kill some other animals, and get some wood. Easy peasy. After that, we turn our quests in, make our obligatory pilgrimage to Red Ridge Mountains, and head off to finish Western Elwyn. Oh yeah, I lied. We stopped into Stormwind to learn Voidwalker. Very cool. Side note, apparently people died at this quest. I am very confused, but you know what? It is what it is. Let people be people, or something. Unfortunately, we don't have any soul shards, so we can't actually summon our Voidwalker yet, but soon enough, we'll find out what his name is. And the future is now. Welcome to the world, Saruman, the Voidwalker. So in this part, I'm about to do something really stupid. I'm gonna solo Hogger. Now, you shouldn't do this, but I'm a Warlock, and my friend also got killed by Hogger the other day, so I had revenge to take. And just like that, Hogger's dead. After taking out Hogger and saving Elwyn Forest, it was time to head to Westfall, the breadbasket of the Alliance, overrun by Defias and in need of some serious help. So, we grab every quest we can see, kill some Defias, grab a pocket watch, and call it a day. After a quick questing session in Westfall, it was time to head back to Stormwind so we could learn staves and prepare to turn in our Hogger quest to get a sick new weapon. We turned in the paw and got our balanced fighting stick. Don't we look cool? I might have lied when I said I was done with Elwyn. I still had to get the collector's ring, and there was this hunter here at level 20 something killing the mobs, but luckily I was able to tag him and grab the ring without much problem. It would have sucked to have to wait for that respawn. But with that, we were finally really super duper done with Elwyn, probably, I think. After a quick quest down south, it was time to head back up north and finish off Dunmoreau, and you guessed it, cave number 8. I love caves. Luckily, these mobs were only green, and it was really not a big deal, for once. I really think the developers just wanted people to die on Dwarf and Gnome. This is the 9th cave, and all we had to do was collect some boxes, but still. Jeez, man. And with that, we head to Thelsamar, grab the flight path, and look for quests to grab. Now that we're level 15, let's talk about Warlocks, the pros and cons, and how I'm feeling about it so far. I think the pros are pretty straightforward. Strong at leveling, the Voidwalker is a good tank, you're super safe, you never go and your health stone's there to back up your health pot if you really get screwed. Realistically, the only cons I can think of right now are having to manage soul shards, and every pull is about the same. Send your Voidwalker in and dot it up. Other than that, it's pretty fine. After heading through cave 9.5, it was time to travel back to Westfall and kill everything in sight. By the way, Harvest Watchers don't care about taunt. My face hurts. And after decimating an entire camp of gnolls, I felt pretty much invincible. And obviously what you do with your ego on max is you enter a cave filled with Westfall's number 2 most deadly mob, the Defias Pillager. Their fireball hits like a truck, and if you're not careful, you're dead. But who am I kidding? You guys already know I got out of there unscathed. After that, it was finally time to head to Red Ridge Mountains. Once there, we grabbed a necklace that fell underwater. Then, we grabbed some tools that were underwater. And then finally, we delivered some lunch. We make a quick detour to kill literally everything in sight before crossing the bridge into Duskwood. All that running just to fly back to Westfall. Yippee! And once I'm here, I do my last little bit of murder, turn in my quest, and boom! Level 18. Then we grab the horseshoes, fly back to Red Ridge, turn in the horseshoes, and get more quests. Wow. Then I think I stopped for the night. Probably. But there's no brakes on this hardcore train. I logged in bright and early, ready to go and kill everything in Red Ridge. With the finish line in sight, we headed back to Westfall to finish our last 2 tasks, killing the Defias Messenger and collecting the Pirate Treasure, which in addition to a fat chunk of XP also finally gave me a 4th bag. And the lucky streak continued. I was offered a free enchant on my way to finish my quest, and now I'm the proud owner of a Beast Slayer enchant. After landing in Loch Modan, it was time to finish my quest. Kill some Trogs, get their idols, and finally hit level 20. See you soon. So, with Warlock officially checked off the list, it's time to give our journey a ranking. Leveling gets an easy 10 out of 10. The only time it was difficult was my own fault. I'm gonna give the fun factor about a 6. It wasn't boring, but it wasn't super interesting either. And finally, my chances of maining the class, I'm gonna put it about a 3. I don't really enjoy casters that much, and Warlock's pretty one-dimensional in Classic. With all that being said, Warlock gets a final score of 6.33333, repeating of course. Keep in mind this is my subjective opinion, and you might like the class more than I do. If you've got a challenge run idea you think might be fun, leave it in the comments below. But without further ado, let's reveal the next episode.